So if you're a cat person, you know this feeling, right? One second, it's all purrs and cuddles. The next, you're wondering where that scratch came from. We're going to get to the bottom of this whole cuddle to claw mystery. Why does that sweet moment just flip?
All right, so just picture it. Your cat's curled up on your lap, that purr motor is just humming, their eyes are doing that slow blink thing, you're just stroking their fur. I mean, it's perfect, right? It's that peaceful connection that is just peak cat ownership.
And then, bam, out of absolutely nowhere, a flash of teeth, maybe some claws, the purring just cuts off, the cat bolts, and you're left just kind of staring at your hand like, what just happened? Yeah, that peaceful scene? It just got blown up by a furry little landmine. So, what is going on there? Why do they do that? It feels so personal, so random. And honestly, it's a little frustrating. This is the big question we're going to tackle today. And hey, if you've ever asked yourself this, you are definitely not alone.
Welcome to what we're calling the cuddle to claw paradox. And the very first thing you got to know is that this is not your cat being moody or, I don't know, bipolar or secretly hating you. Nope, this is a deep primal instinct. And the good news is it's something we can actually learn to understand. Okay, so to really get a handle on this, we've got to go way back. Think evolutionary history. Because it doesn't matter how spoiled your cat is, lounging on a silk pillow, getting gourmet food, deep down, they are still running the original software of a super efficient solitary hunter. Just look at this comparison. It tells the whole story. On one hand, you've got our house cat. Yeah, they like social interaction, but it's always on their terms, right? And on the other hand, you have their wild ancestor. This was a lone hunter. Being in constant contact with another animal, that wasn't cozy. That was dangerous. It meant you were vulnerable. And that instinct, that little voice screaming, "Don't get pinned down," that's a powerful echo that's still bouncing around your living room today. And this isn't just some nice idea, It's backed by science. Dr. John Bradshaw, a top cat behavior expert, he puts it perfectly. He says, the domestic cat is a solitary hunter and is not a social species. See, that's the thing. Dogs, they come from pack animals. Social structure is baked in. But cats, their social skills are more like an app they downloaded later. It's not part of their core operating system. And that difference is everything. Okay, so if we're saying this isn't random, then there have to be signs, right? And there are. Oh, there are. Your cat is totally communicating its discomfort way before the claws ever make an appearance. The problem is, we humans are often, well, kind of clueless when it comes to speaking cat. So let's learn the language. So how do they say, hey, I'm done now, without using words? I mean, they can't just tap you on the shoulder and say, okay, that's enough petting, thanks. Instead, they use this really sophisticated, but also really subtle body language. Okay, so think of this as your official cat-to-human translation guide. That slow, gentle tail swish, when that turns into a sharp, twitchy thump, that's your first warning. You might see the skin on their backs start to ripple or roll. That's a huge sign of irritation. Their ears might start to flatten out or turn to the side. Their whole body might suddenly go rigid. You might even hear a low growl, or the purr itself changes tone. And look at the eyes. If the pupils suddenly get huge, that's a sign. These aren't threats, not really. They're your cat politely asking you to please, please stop. So why are they making all these requests in the first place? Well, it almost always comes down to one really important idea: overstimulation. It's that moment when a really good thing suddenly becomes way too much.
Okay, so what is overstimulation? Basically, a cat's nervous system is just incredibly sensitive. Every single hair on their body is connected to a nerve ending, so that repetitive stroking, especially down their back or near the tail, can go from feeling amazing to feeling irritating or even threatening really fast. The best way to think about it is like a social battery that just gets drained. The sensation flips a switch in their brain from, this is nice, to, nope, get away from me, and it happens in an instant.
And this right here, this breaks down the whole sequence of events perfectly. It's not just one thing. It all starts with step one, the invitation. The cat wants attention, they're purring, they seem relaxed. But then we move to step two, the warning. This is when their tolerance starts to dip, and you see those subtle signals we talked about, the twitchy tail, the flat ears, and if those warnings are missed, that's when we get to step three, the boundary. That bite or swat is the absolute last resort. It's their emergency brake to stop a sensation that's become completely overwhelming. It's not an attack, you see. It's a boundary being enforced. All right, so we get the why now, which means we can finally get to the how to fix it part. And the goal here isn't to stop cuddling your cat. Not at all. The goal is to learn how to do it in a way that makes you both happy. It's about learning to speak their language and respect what they're telling you.
Okay, so here's your playbook for happier, bite-free cuddles. First off, keep the petting sessions short and sweet. Think quality, not quantity. Next, focus on the spots cats usually love. Their cheeks, their head, under the chin. Why? Because they have scent glands there, and rubbing them is like you're grooming each other, which is a huge sign of trust in their world. You want to avoid the belly, the tail, and the paws for most cats. To a predator, showing your belly is the ultimate sign of vulnerability, and they don't love it when you test that. But here's the most critical part. Watch for those warning signs and stop the second you see one. Let the cat be the one to start and end the interaction. And please never, ever punish them for setting a boundary. That's a conversation you actually want to encourage, not shut down. Seriously, if you only remember one thing from all of this, let it be this slide right here. That bite, it is not an attack. It's not your cat being mean or turning on you. It is communication. It's the loudest, clearest way they have of saying please stop after all their quieter attempts were ignored. It's a communication breakdown, not an act of aggression. So what if feral isn't really the right word at all? What if it's just a word we use for a language we're only just now finally learning to speak? The next time your cat gives you that look or that tail starts to twitch, don't just see a moody pet. See an invitation to listen a little closer.